Hello and welcome back, children. This is Mr. Muzaffar presenting before you the seventh chapter of your Honeydew Reader. The name of the chapter is A Visit to Cambridge by Firdaus Kanga. My dear children, I have divided this chapter into three parts. One part I have already discussed with you, my dear children. Today I am going to teach you the second part of this chapter. Let me remind you the previous knowledge, my dear children. As I have discussed with you, my dear children, yesterday, this story is about a meeting between two differently abled people. It was Stephen Hawking and Firdaus Kanga. Both were disabled. Both were disabled. Both were paralyzed. Both were paralyzed, my dear children. But both were extraordinary genius in their fields. Both were competent. Both were determined in their fields. Both were competent, both were determined, and both were extraordinary in their fields. My dear children, the story is about two people. I have told you the name of those two people. It was Stephen Hawking and Firdaus Kanga. Both were eminent, famous scientists, and both were paralyzed. Both were paralyzed. Both were disabled, my dear children. As I have told you yesterday, he can speak, Stephen Hawking, he can speak only through the computer. He can speak only through the computer and confine it to a wheelchair. My dear children. Firdaus Kanga, I told you, he was a great writer. He was a great writer and journalist. Great writer and journalist, and he was from Bombay. My dear children. But he was born with, very weak. He was born with very weak and easily breakable bones, and he took moves around in a wheelchair also, and they both met in England. And they discussed about the point of view of normal people, my dear children. As I have told you yesterday, for differently abled people, the writer Firdaus Kanga was on a walking tour to Cambridge, and he thought that to meet an eminent and famous personality of the world, Stephen Hawking, and he planned to go to his residence, and where they meet each other. Firdaus Kanga and Stephen Hawking, both were scientists and both were disabled, both were paralyzed, both were confined to a wheelchair. My dear children. You have heard a lot about Stephen Hawking. We have conducted number of seminars in Army Public School, Pahalgam, and you are very much aware of everything, my dear children. Their bodies were disintegrating. But minds were brilliant. Although their bodies were disintegrating, but their minds were brilliant, but their minds were extraordinary. He had little switches in his hand. This Stephen Hawking had little switches in his hand. He was able to move his finger to find the words. He was able to move his finger to find the words on a computer, my dear children. When Firdaus asked Hawking that people often thought that disabled people were unhappy people, he asked him, people were thinking that disabled people were often, unhappy people were often unfortunate people. Hawking replied, I find it amusing when people patronize me. He was a very practical person. Stephen Hawking, who was he? He was a very practical person. He was intelligent, he was brave, and he was confident. That's why he told him, I find it amusing when people patronize me. He was a very practical person, my dear children. He did not think anything good about being disabled. He did not think, anything good about being disabled. He admitted that it is annoying. Stephen Hawking admitted that it is annoying when another disabled person came and disturbed him in his work. He admitted that it is annoying. It is annoying when another disabled person came and disturbed him in his work, came and disturbed Stephen Hawking in his work, my dear children. Seeing the poor condition of the great scientist, seeing the poor condition of the great scientist, Firdaus felt relief. Firdaus felt relief. Firdaus felt relief because neither he can walk nor he can stand. When he saw, if a person, if a person is blind, if he sees another person that is blind, and then he gets bit encouragement. He gets bit encouragement. What he gets? He gets a bit encouragement. And when he saw, when Firdaus Kanga saw Stephen Hawking, that Stephen Hawking wasn't able to move here and there. Same condition was with Firdaus Kanga. Firdaus Kanga was not also able to move here and there. Both were confined to a wheelchair. Both were confined to a wheelchair. Both were paralyzed. Both were disabled, my dear children. And then he felt a little relaxed. He felt relaxed once he saw the condition of a Stephen Hawking. Once he saw the condition of a Stephen Hawking, my dear children. But Stephen Hawking was a practical person. He was doing things practical. He was doing things practical. Every scientist of the world came across him and meet him and had discussion with him regarding different topics, regarding different things, my dear children. In this way, we have finished the second part of this chapter, my dear children. Tomorrow, inshallah, I am going to teach you the third part of this chapter. Please, my dear children, watch these videos. Watch these videos. If you have any problem, if you have any doubt, just ring me or arrange a conference call. I am always here. I am always ready to hear you 24/7, my dear children. Thank you and have a good day.